Hey, what's up, guys? Gangster Jeweler here. So today we are going to be working on a ring that I think we need to sizing included in price. Size 8. Let's go ahead and cut this tag off, or get this tag off of here. Let's go ahead and cut that off. Get that out of the way. Let's stick that back in the bag here. Alright. So we need to go to an 8. This is a 6, so we're going 2 sizes. Alright. 2 sizes. So, first thing we're going to do, if you got a saw, use your saw. If you got cutters, cut them if you got them. Let's go ahead and cut. Then we'll go ahead and open her up. Slide her open to where she needs to be. So now remember, you want to open it up. You don't want too much pressure on the piece that you're putting in, because it will blow out. So you probably have to open it up a little bit past an 8. But then when you go to measure your piece, you want it to be just a hair bit smaller than an 8. So you only want to be like a 7 3/4, kind of in that area, because by the time you straighten it out and polish, file down, you may have to do a little bit of tapping, but not too much. You don't want to measure your piece to be directly on an 8, because by the time you round it out, file it, then it's going to be bigger than an 8. So you always want to be about a 1/4 size smaller than where you need to be. So that's just something to keep in mind, because if you measure it right on an 8, by the time you file it down, get it all straight, it's going to be bigger than an 8. So you want to be about a 1/4 size smaller than where you need to be. We're just going to file these sides down just a little bit. There you go. And next thing, we need to find us a piece that'll go in there. I don't know if I made a video on making sizing stock for people that may not have may not be able, they might not have the ability to cast. You can make your own sizing stock at the bench. I don't know if I made a video on that or not. If I didn't, I'll have to do that. But you can, let's put this back on. The mandrel there, we're about a 1/4 size smaller. Let's look for us a piece here. We should have a piece hanging around in here that we can use somewhere. Keyword being should. I think that's going to be too small. Yeah, too small. I hope I don't have to make any sizing stock. That would have been nice to know before we started this video. I hope we don't. But you never know, we might. Might have to. That would suck. I don't know. It's not looking good. Let me see that piece right there. That might work right there. Let me take a look here. Oh, look at that shit. That's pretty damn close. That'll work. That will freaking work, y'all. What we need to do though is we need to go ahead and cut us like a groove to kind of help hold it in place. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We'll smooth out the sides here just a hair, and then cut us a little groove. Don't have to be a very deep groove, just enough so that it can kind of catch and hang in there. Because otherwise you're going to have a hard time getting your piece to sit there like it should. Alright. Let's go ahead and set this in here and see how we're sitting. Now this may end up being just a hair bit smaller, but it's not a big deal. Not a major thing anyways. As a matter of fact, let me see where that's going to put us. Yeah, that's going to put us pretty close. Pretty close. Alright, we got our piece sitting in there. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. We don't want to dump all that, because that makes for a bad day. So let's go ahead and dip it in some boric acid denatured alcohol here. And we're going to switch to a 5-tip. We're going to use a 5-tip on this. That's a 7. That might be the 5. No, that's the 4. That's the 5. And we'll go ahead and light her up. Go ahead and set the ring on fire, let all that burn off. Set her on fire. Alright, now we need to cut us some solder. We need some solder. We don't need very big pieces, so you don't have to cut huge chunks. Now some people like to cut their solder up into already pre-made pieces. I don't like to do that because you can use different pieces or different sometimes you need bigger pieces, sometimes you don't need that big of a piece, you know. So I like to cut it as I go. But some people like to pre-cut their solder, which is fine. I mean, to each their own. Let's go ahead and put some flux on here. And we'll just set that there. Alright, now it's time to weld this piece in here. Time to weld that sucker in. So let's go ahead and grab our piece. We'll start with the left side. You bitch. Yeah, she might have still went. I want to pull another piece through there though. I didn't really like the way that went. Really didn't. There we go. Alright, let's cut us one more little piece here. Okay. Where is... there you go. All right, I think we're good, yo. Let's take a look at it here. Let me zoom you guys back out. Let's see what we got. It's kind of hard to tell at the moment. Let me grab some tweezers here. Yep, looks like we're all the way through. Yep. All right, we'll let that cool off for a minute. These are diamonds. We could just put it in the water, but we'll let it cool off for a second. Pretty hot right now. Let that cool off for a minute. Yeah, you put it on the mandrel. That helps dissipate the heat pretty quick. Alright, let's grab a ball peen hammer because we're going to have to do a little bit of tapping up. Because the piece we put in was a little bit smaller. That was kind of me just being lazy. Not wanting having to make solder for the video. Or I mean sizing stock. But we're not that far off. We are not that far off. We're only about a quarter size off, so. Which is where you want to be. You want to be a little bit smaller. Like I said, you don't want to size it to be directly right on an 8 because otherwise it's going to be too big by the time you finish cleaning it up and everything. Almost to an 8. And we're going to be doing kind of a mixture between the rubber mallet and the ball peen hammer here. Going to be doing kind of a mixture. And we're almost an 8. We're like a tight 8 on this side. And we're kind of like a tight 8 on that side. Now for some reason the shank's kind of wanting to bend, do like a wobble type deal. Not a big deal, but we'll have to straighten that out for sure. Yeah, it's like about an 8. Let's go ahead and file these sides down on that piece, and then we need to straighten this shank out a little bit. So we're going to take the bulk of it down with a rock, and then we'll do the fine filing that we need to do later. So we're just going to take the bulk of the gold off the side there. Now we need to straighten this shank out a little bit. There we go, that looks better. Let's see what that looks like on the mandrel here. Still need to do just a hair bit more tapping. It's an 8. It's an 8. Kind of like a tight 8 there. That's definitely an 8 on that side. Like a tight 8 on that side. We're going to tap a little bit with our ball peen hammer here, because this thing, it's an 8. It's an 8. You know what's really weird that I don't really like about this ring? Is you see how I really don't like that about this ring at all. I really don't. Is you see how it like tapers? So it goes from small to bigger. I don't like that. That looks weird. That looks weird as hell. I don't think I'm a fan of that. Do not think I'm a fan. That just looks weird. Looks fucking weird. Yep, I'm not a huge fan, but it's not my ring. Not my ring. And straighten that shank out a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, well. So we are an 8 on that side. And we are an 8 on that side. See, the other thing I don't like is, being that it tapers, I don't know if you guys can see that, but see, it tapers from small to bigger, and by it doing that, like there's kind of like a gap under the head there. Not really a big fan of that either. But there's not a hell of a whole lot we can do about that. Because we don't want to mess with the stones. Because if we go trying to mess with that or loosen the stones, so it's just the way the ring was made, man. I don't like it though. I really don't. I do not like it. I am definitely not a fan. But like I said, I'm not the one buying the ring, so what does my opinion matter, right? Okay, let's go ahead and finish filing this back side here. Then we'll file the sides down. But that is a weird looking ring. It's been a long time since I've seen one like that. This probably belonged to a set of some type, to where it would taper from here, because it goes from smaller to bigger. But it just looks so weird by itself. Now if it was with the set, it would probably look alright, you know. That's just weird. I don't like that. But hey, like I said, it ain't our ring, so we're not buying it. Now we're just going to file the sides here a little bit, get them even. With our metal file. Remember, the goal is they should not be able to tell where you put the piece in at. That is your goal. Now when you're starting out, you might have a line or two, and that might be the best you can do, and I've been there, so don't feel bad. You know, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. The more you do, the better you get at it. And remember, you don't want to push real hard, because you're not trying to groove. We're just trying to file it even with the rest of the ring. So we don't need to push real hard. Want to do single strokes. That looks pretty good. Let's work on the other side now. It's not a very wide shank. It's a fairly thick shank, but the shank on this ring ain't very wide. But it is thick. So I will give them credit for that. But wide, not so much. Alright guys, Let me switch to a silicone wheel for a second here. Just for a minute. Kind of smooth these edges out now. There we go. Now let's take our metal file and just kind of run across the top for a second. Kind of just do a couple strokes across the top. We really don't have to do a lot of filing there. Alright. So you can see we got our piece in there. We got it blended in pretty well. So let's go ahead and switch to our inside silicone wheel. We'll go ahead and smooth the inside of the ring out first, and then we'll do the back side and the sides. I usually like to start with the inside first. Really don't matter where you start, but that's just my preference. I like to get the inside done first. Oh, by the way, I don't know, Patty Salas, I don't know if you're watching these videos. If you watch these videos, you need to call me and tell me your number, because the message you left me, you didn't leave the number, and I've tried calling every number that shows up on my phone, and I can't seem to reach you. So if you're watching these videos, call me, leave me with your number. Patty Salas. You had some rings to size, but you didn't leave me your number. You left a message, didn't leave your number. I tried to call the numbers. That called me that day, and I'm not reaching you. So if you can give me a call back, leave your number. That would be appreciated. Alright, got the inside looking good. Well, before we do that, I want to hit this bottom under the head part. Get under there as well. Alright, now let's smooth the rest of this out. Alright, now let's work on this side here. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the other side here. Yeah, this ring here definitely belonged to a set of some kind. Alright guys, I think we've got it all smoothed out. Got our piece blended in there pretty well. So I'm going to go drop this in the ultrasound real quick and then we'll go polish her up. I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're ready to get this ring polished up. Get her looking like brand new. And remember, if you're using rouge, whatever rouge you use, you don't need a lot of it on the wheel. You know, whatever rouge you decide to use. Like I said, it's not a very wide shank. That's for darn sure. But it is fairly thick, so I will give them that. So as long as they take good care of it, it'll last them a while. Alright guys, you can see how that's already shining up. It'll look even better once we get all the rouge off of it. Alright, let's go hit the inside of the ring here. Looks pretty damn good to me, guys. Alright. We are a size 8, y'all. Let's go drop this into ultrasound. We got it polished up, get all this rouge off of it, and we'll come back and look at the finished product, guys. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back with that ring. Unfortunately, my camera light is trying to go out on me, so we don't have quite the lighting we should. But you can see we got it nice, clean, polished. Got it to a size 8. And yeah, it was a fairly simple, I wouldn't say simple, but uncomplicated sizing, I guess would be the more proper term. But I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. Appreciate the loyal followers and subscribers. If you're not a follower or subscriber, if you'd like and subscribe, that would definitely be fantastic. If you'd like to help donate to the channel, help the channel grow, or if you learn anything from these videos, I'll have the link for that down in the description where you can donate, or if you'd like to leave a tip, but it's not required. Just helps the channel grow and show some love. If you would also like to check out my live streams, you can check that out on Kick, Beam, or Rumble. And also, if you're looking to buy jewelry in the Jacksonville area, I highly recommend Money Miser on Blanding Boulevard. And if you're not in the Jacksonville area, and what am I saying if you're not in the Jacksonville area? If you want me to do your repairs, you can visit my Etsy shop. I'll have the link for that down in the description. And also, if you're a business in the Jacksonville or Orange Park area and would like for me to start doing your repairs, you can shoot me an email. I'll have the links, or I'll have that down in the description as well. But this is the Gangster Jeweler, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate all the loyal followers and subscribers. I even appreciate some of the critics. Lord Mark, probably my biggest critic, but you know, it is what it is. Can't make everybody happy, right? But anyway, guys, this is the Gangster Jeweler, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, y'all.